My husband told me, "Your pregnancy disgusts me. Stop talking about it." His reaction when I took his words literally was priceless. We'd been trying for a baby for 3 years. When I finally got pregnant, I thought Tom would be thrilled. Instead, when morning sickness hit and I mentioned feeling nauseous at breakfast, he slammed his coffee down hard enough to splash it across the table. "I'm sick of hearing about your stupid pregnancy symptoms. You've become boring and disgusting. Just stop talking about it completely." I stared at him in shock, my hand instinctively moving to my barely there bump. After 8 years of marriage and fertility treatments, this was his response to our miracle baby. "Okay," I said quietly. "I won't mention the pregnancy again." Tom looked relieved and went back to his phone like nothing had happened. When I started staying at my parents' house because of smell aversions, Tom initially enjoyed the peace. But after a week, his texts became frantic. "When are you coming home? Is something wrong? Talk to me." But I didn't. He specifically asked me not to. The neighbors started asking if we were separated. Tom had to keep explaining I was just visiting family, but nobody believed him. Soon, everyone was whispering about how he'd driven away his pregnant wife. My sister threw me a baby shower at the country club during Tom's company golf tournament. His boss's wife asked where Tom was. When she learned he told me to stop talking about the pregnancy, she immediately told her husband. Tom's boss confronted him on the 9th hole about what kind of man tells his pregnant wife she's disgusting. Tom had to finish 18 holes while everyone stared with contempt. When I went into preterm labor at 34 weeks, I spent 3 days in the hospital. My dad called Tom's office to inform them. Tom's secretary was horrified he hadn't mentioned it himself. The preterm scare meant strict bed rest. Tom discovered this when he came home to find a hospital bed in our living room. He stood frozen in the doorway, briefcase still in hand. "What is this? What's happening? Is the baby okay?" When I just nodded without explaining, he punched the wall so hard his knuckles bled. "Tell me about the pregnancy." "I take it back. When my water broke at 2 a.m., I quietly left with my mom. Tom only found out I'd given birth when our doorbell camera sent him a notification of my sister arriving with 'It's a girl' balloons. He called frantically. "Why didn't you tell me you were in labor?" "You said stop talking about the pregnancy," I replied calmly. "So I did." The nurses gasped audibly. One actually said, "Oh my God, what a monster." Tom rushed to the hospital, but when he burst into my room still wearing yesterday's wrinkled clothes, he wasn't apologetic. He was calculating. He pulled out his phone showing a recording. "Good thing I have you on tape saying you deliberately kept me from my child's birth. My lawyer says that's parental alienation." He smiled for the first time in months. "Now let's discuss custody." I stared at his triumphant face and realized I might lose Luna to the man who couldn't stand to hear she existed. But Tom's recording backfired spectacularly. The judge heard the full context, including him threatening custody before even asking about his newborn daughter. His own mother testified against him after learning what he'd really said. His boss testified about the golf course confrontation. 3 nurses described his calculating behavior in the delivery room. The court awarded me full custody, with Tom getting supervised visits only. 2 years later, tired of fighting a losing battle, he signed away all parental rights when my new husband wanted to adopt Luna. Sometimes giving people exactly what they ask for is the most devastating revenge of all. Tom learned that silence can be louder than words.